I'm getting ready, tracking our next weather maker as we get ready for rain tomorrow. I'll break down the timing coming up.
2 deadly shootings in 24 hours in Baltimore as April comes to a bloody close. Fox 45 News looks into how city leaders can curb crime before summer hits.
And state schools blaming their own web vendor for posting embargoed test results. Who the web vendor says actually posted the failing math scores in Baltimore.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 10.
Well, the final line of April showers moving in on the last weekend of the month.
Yeah, Fox 45 is tracking our next weather maker, which could put a damper on your Sunday plans.
All right, let's get right to meteorologist Jasmine Lomax with a look at when the storms could start. Jasmine.
Well, we enjoyed a mostly dry day today, but we're getting ready for our next round of rain, and that could bring storms tomorrow impacting your Sunday plans. Right now, we're keeping track of our next weather maker. We're watching that cold front as it moves toward the east, and we're also watching that warm front to the south that's leading to areas of rain. All of that rain is going to move toward us tomorrow morning. So if you have any plans early on, you want to make sure that you are keeping watch on the radar and driving safe if you have to go anywhere. Most of us are under a general risk for thunderstorms. However, for parts of southern Maryland and along the eastern shore, there is a marginal risk, threat level 1 of 5 for strong to severe storms. Regardless of where you are, you want to make sure that you are staying weather alert. Coming up, I'll have a look at the timing of the storms, and I'll let you know just how much rain we could see in my Weather Authority forecast. Back to you.
We're following breaking news tonight in Baltimore. A double shooting along Mount Holly Street and Harlem Avenue in West Baltimore. One man was killed, a 44-year-old injured less than 24 hours before. 2 28-year-olds shot along North Glover Street in East Baltimore. One of them died and the other is still in the hospital. Anyone with information on either shooting is asked to call Baltimore police.
And a 30-year-old was also shot this evening in northwest Baltimore. This past month alone, gun violence impacting dozens of people, the number higher than it's been in months. And now as we head to the summer months, there's concern the numbers will spike and more young people will become victims.
April has proved to be a violent month throughout Baltimore City. From a quadruple shooting that left 3 dead in northeast Baltimore to 2 teenagers shot Easter Sunday at the Inner Harbor and a 12-year-old boy killed in South Baltimore. This month, at least 69 people have been shot, left living with the permanent scar of violence. According to our data, that's the most non-fatal shootings in a month since last summer. In total, 191 people have been shot and survived this year in Baltimore City. That is less than this time last year. But among those shot and survived, 32 juveniles ranging from 9 years old to 17. As crime historically increases in the summer months, Mayor Brandon Scott is hoping a new youth curfew will curb violence among young people.
There has to be some accountability. There has to
Scott should be asking.
When the city signs off on a budget line item for the schools, they have the right to ask, what kind of performance metrics are you putting in? What are you doing? And when should we see results? But our mayor is not asking that. Now, interestingly enough, he has chosen to abdicate his authority.
Taylor Stewart, Fox 45 News.
Well, Fox 45 is also investigating why the State Department is redacting test scores online. MSDE recently removing some test results from its site, telling Project Baltimore the changes were made to protect student privacy. They're blaming a web vendor now, the Canton Group, for posting embargoed test embargoed test scores prematurely, but the web vendor tells our Project Baltimore team that's not true. A statement from the Canton Group refutes MDSE's claims, saying someone under the organization's supervision published all the information back on January 19th. MSDE has not responded to the statement.
Governor Wes Moore told Fox 45 News on Thursday he was not made aware by MSDE or the state superintendent that data was being changed.
Governor Moore, did you know that the State Department of Education was going to be redacting the test scores? Do you support that decision, especially when it comes to Baltimore City schools, many of which we know are doing very poorly? 23 schools had 0 students proficient in math.
No, we did not. And one thing that I know that we want to be able to work on and address is making sure that we have a world-class public education system is imperative. Everything that we are trying to accomplish, we need to have a world-class public education system to help us to get there. The fact that there is not the level of coordination between the Department of Education and the governor's office is something that needs to be fixed. It's something that needs to be addressed, where it is an independent body.
I said, and I stand by the idea that we also have to make sure there's a greater level of coordination of what's happening between MSDE and the governor's office, where MSDE is an independent agency. It's an independent standalone agency with its own board and its own accountability measures. I understand that. I respect that. I also, though, know that what is going to be incredibly important in all of this is that measure of partnership that we are excited to engage in.
The president of the State Board of Education, Clarence Crawford, told Fox 45 News that he didn't know the data was being changed. Fox 45 sent both President Crawford and Governor Moore an email asking when they became aware of the data being removed and redacted from the website. We also asked how they became aware. We're still waiting on their responses. Well, the 2023 NFL draft is in the books. Ravens rounded out their draft class in Kansas City today.
Rocco DeSangro joins us now with a look at today's selections. Hey, Rocco.
Hey, what's going on, guys? You can't say that the Ravens didn't address their needs in the draft. They reached a deal with Lamar, took a receiver, some linebackers, a corner, and a few offensive linemen. While the Ravens started the day with 5 picks, did you really think that Eric DeCosta was going to end the day with just 5 picks? Here's a recap of the Ravens' 2023 draft. Wide receiver Zay Flowers in round 1. Linebacker Trenton Simpson, round 3. Edge Tavius Robinson in round 4. Corner Caillou Blue Kelly in round 5. That's a tough name to say, but I'm going to try for it anyway. Offensive lineman Malasala Almave Laulu in round 6. But wait, there's more. Eric DeCosta, not content with just 5 picks. Like I said, the Ravens traded back into the draft to take O-lineman Andrew Voorhees in the 7th round, sending the Browns a 2024 6th-round pick in return. Coming up later on, we'll hear from some of the newest Ravens as well as General Manager Eric DeCosta when Sports Unlimited returns.
All right, coming up, concerns of crime from Baltimore City bleeding into the surrounding areas. Why Baltimore County's new police chief says violence is on the rise.
And racing is back at Laurel Park. Why the track got approval to reopen ahead of peak horse racing season. As a violent April winds down in Baltimore, crimes like murder, carjackings, and home invasions are on the rise in surrounding areas.
Yeah, one legal expert tells Fox 45 it stems from the city's failure to be tough on crime in the past, making criminals feel like they can get away with anything, anywhere. A murder in Dorchester County, an uncommon crime for the area. The suspect from Baltimore City.
Crime in Baltimore City is seeping into every neighboring county.
Through Vignaraja, served as special prosecutor in that murder. The victim, Deontay Belcher. His killer, James Reddick. Neither man strangers to Baltimore police.
They've been emboldened by their positive experience in the Baltimore City criminal justice system, getting away literally with murder, and they're taking that approach to other jurisdictions.
Reddick, a known violent offender with several pages of criminal history, given probation for most of his crimes. Vignaraja says criminals from Baltimore City feel they can get away with just about anything because Baltimore has historically been soft on crime.
In counties across Maryland where you see spikes, especially in violent crime, carjackings and killings, you are seeing more and more links to Baltimore City criminals.
Fox 45 looked into Vignaraja's claims and found that according to Anne Arundel County Police, a Baltimore City teen was arrested for home invasion earlier this month. And in Baltimore County,
crime knows no boundaries.
The newly sworn-in police chief, Robert McCullough, already acknowledging a problem after the murder of 16-year-old Trayshawn Harmon from Baltimore City and a rash of violent crimes in the Towson area. Vignaraja says until changes are seen and not just talked about at the state's attorney's office, Baltimore's neighboring counties will continue to suffer.
Individuals that went through the revolving door of the criminal justice system in Baltimore City and now are taking their operation elsewhere. And until Baltimore City cleans up its mess, we're making it harder for the rest of the state.
Well, horse racing back today at Laurel Park just over a week after 2 horses were euthanized following injuries on the track. On Tuesday, the Maryland Horse Racing Commission held an emergency meeting to assess the track's safety. It's previously been blamed for injuries to horses. Just this month alone, 5 horses have been put down. An agreement has been reached to now bring in a consultant. At this hour, a manhunt underway in Texas for the man accused of killing 5 people in a mass shooting last night. Police say 39-year-old Francisco Orpeza killed his neighbors, including an 8-year-old child, and injured at least 3 others. Police say Orpeza may still be armed. The attack reportedly unfolding after the neighbors asked him to stop shooting his gun in his yard.
Everybody that was shot from the neck up, almost execution style. We've got his Mexican consulate card. Plus there was a Ring doorbell on the victim's house that we actually captured him coming up to the front door with the weapon.
Police say the suspect used an AR-15 style rifle in the attack. The 3 injured victims were taken to the hospital.
Coming up, Army aircraft grounded after 2 deadly crashes in 2 months. What one general thinks could be behind the recent tragedies.
A special edition of the Fells Point Farmers Market today in Baltimore. The Sagamore Pendry Baltimore teaming up with the market to host some vendors inside. The market surrounded the hotel's infinity pool with its picturesque view of the inner harbor. The Fells Point Farmers Market is expected to return to its regular spot on Broadway Square next week.
And plenty of smiles today at the Oregon Ridge Park in Cockeysville as the Kennedy Krieger Institute hosted its Roar for Kids fundraiser. Today's festivities featured a 5K fun run, all to raise money for children and young adults with disabilities. The main event was a mascot challenge featuring local favorites like the Oriole Bird and Leola Greyhound. Kennedy Krieger's annual fundraiser has brought in more than $3 million since its inception in 2005.
We are getting ready for our next weather maker, and this will lead to rain impacting your Sunday plans. I'll let you know the timing of the rain and how much we could see coming up in my Weather Authority forecast.